Welcome back to Factorio building the Hyperbase. Okay, so what has happened in the meantime? Not very much. There was one minor thing. I remember some episodes ago I actually made a slight error at the start here. Instead of extracting from this line of green circuit, I was actually extracting from this higher line. So I've made a variation where the higher line is the one that's fed in here and the lower line carries on. The other side was fine, so I've left it alone. But you notice also that we don't actually seem to be using half of the content in this time frame. We're using about half of one side, so I may have over-calculated the drain, or it could just be that we're just not using red circuits that fast. That certainly looks a bit like the case, so yeah, that's fine. Now, the other thing is obviously greens. Well, for example, we're constantly running out of copper for green circuits. We can't really force more through this one, so one of our goals I think will be to open up this one here, 89 million. It's probably too small to help us with the Hyperbase as such, but another little mine to, I mean, you can see how much this has been shredded. All of that was solid before, and now look at it, we're extending all the way over here just to try and have some hope of filling in these little trains. Now, the other thing that I think I'm going to do is I'd like to get this semi happening. Now, this is going to take a very long time to fill up. We only have sort of 300 of the processing units in each carriage. When they stack to 100, so that's sort of, it can take about 4,000, so we're not even 10%. But I think I'd like to just tell this to take its 5,900 and go to module blue, just so that that process can start up. I mean, it's going to deploy here first, so it's going to be quite a long process, even with all of this potential acceleration. We do have bots here, don't we? But this, it has construction bots as well, so I just want to be sure that this will actually let the whole thing, there you go, it's completely unloaded and filling up again. It should start getting to module level 3s. That must be a 2, that's a 2. There's some module 3s over here, which should be able to start up fairly soon, I would think. Oh, you've actually finished one. So somewhere there should be some assigning of module requirements. Oops. That one doesn't need any. They don't appear to be just being deposited. That does level 3s. It should be speed level 3s, and it's doing another one right now. Let's just see if we can track what happens to it. Shouldn't take that long. I suppose it does take quite a while when none of these have modules yet, but that's what I wanted to see happen. Here we go. There's a 3. There's a construction bot. And it's gone over to here. And this guy has one and is expecting one more, so we're very slowly starting to build this out. So this one's now been sped up slightly. Speed 1.5 versus 1.2, so very slow process. Anyway, let's just leave that to happen in the background. Let's have a look at the other thing that's just happening in the background. This is our solar field. We haven't laid any of this after our slightly auspicious start. It's all happened by itself. We're at 101,000. It's waiting for another train load of solar panels. This delivers us, I won't say at the moment, but basically we're using about half, 3.2 gigawatts is about half of our 6 that you can get off 100,000, 6 gigawatts. So we do have to be slightly mindful of that as well. When these modules start coming online, we're likely to greatly increase the rate at which we are using power. So yeah, something to be aware of. Okay, so what we're going to need, if we're going to extend out here, where exactly do I want the train line? Probably something like that. Could probably just come over here. I'm half tempted just to do bot mining, but no, we'll do belt mining because it's the sort of beginner function. I might even just do an extended copy of that. We're going to lose some of it, but maybe we'll be fine. Just need to get in a little bit closer. Oh, I might have taken too much there, but we'll soon see. Whoops. Oh, we can't see anything. Okay. Let's jump on board this. Right, should we just run there? It might even be faster than that thing. Although this does have all the resources we need. Alright, let's use this noisy and somewhat slow thing. As soon as I start building low density structures for real, which I guess is likely to be our next project, we'll build the faster jet. That should help. Now, let us get into InfiniZoom. There's no way this is going to magically just fit. No, but that bit's not too terrible. We can just get rid of that bit and make our own connection. At least we know roughly where it needs to go. So what do we need for this? Quite a lot of things. Well, that is the one advantage of this guy. It has a lot of capacity for things. Not quite as good as my supply train, but with all this being disconnected, the supply train could struggle a little bit to find all the things that we need anyway. So we need 1.3k of red belt. Right. Let's actually get 1,400. Say 500 of the miners. What else are we looking for? 150 power poles. got enough smart inserters. Yeah, we better make sure we've got enough signals to make all of this work. Signals, that one. I've got train stops. Lamps. We might as well get some lamps. So we've got some lamps. So if it delivers me all of that, I should be fine, which looks like I am. Alright, let's go and do it. We'll probably need to come back to make the rail connection, but this part of it should be relatively simple. Hopefully I've got my bots deployed. Yep. Actually, it doesn't even look like I needed this guy, but at least he can just hover over everywhere and not get interfered with by the belt. So that kind of helps, if nothing else. Good time to have a sip of coffee. Coffee's getting a little bit cold though. Okay. Now obviously these gaps in the belt, we may as well just reverse fit them and that'll be fine. As in come back and put the miners in all the places where there's holes along here. Of course we're going to get quite a lot of wood now. Well, that's what this guy's for. If I can get him to a spot where I can actually transfer the wood. There we go. How are we going for stuff? Not too badly. What we should probably do is we don't really want these scenic trees, they may as well go as well. And these things can probably just extend backwards instead of wrap round like this. But we'll worry about that after we've had this laid down in full. Certainly does simplify the process to have a decent blueprint, or semi-decent blueprint. Doing it all for you. Alright, come over here, bots. Okay, back to work. Have we missed anywhere? Come on, bots, hurry up. I think we have most of that. So now it's just the rail connection. Some faster bots would be helpful. Probably also it would be helpful to have like an extra fusion reactor and maybe you know, a different armor with an extra fusion reactor and more. These guys probably don't need to be in there. More bot thingies, bot control thingies. So what we need is, do I have... I don't want to mine it, I just want to have a look inside it. I don't seem to have good rail in there. Okay. I'm not trying to mine it, I'm trying to mine my bots. Is this the last one? Yep. Still 3 bots to go. So hopefully my good rail is sitting back at the starter base. If not, I could just grab it again off the blueprint library. Just to finish that bit off. We'll probably, actually we've got enough rail, we don't need more. A little bit surprised I had that much. Must have had a little bit on. I don't need all of this stuff, thanks. Okay, do you have good rail? Good rail. Let's go. Yes, the trains are faster than this jet. Well, this whatever it is. Cargo plane, this little slow hog. But the jet should be a lot faster when we get to it. Okay, back up. Now. Good rail. That's what we need. Huh. That should restore the connections. Now, we need that to come to over here. Going to go too far, so I guess we'll get rid of that bit and grab a good rail, find the corner piece. That looks about right. I guess we'll just manually connect up this piece because it will be easier. Do I have any wires on me? I do have green, I don't have red. Might be better just to leave it. Let's go and name these stations now. Not that we actually need to come over here to do it, but well, that's good. We have power. What do we call these ones over here? Copper 1. Okay, these guys can be copper 2. change your name to copper 2. And let's get 3 more trains and send them to copper 2. That should fix up copper. Trains, right. So 3, that would be 12 and 12. There we go. Now let's place these basically at their destination stations. Yeah, look at that. Not good. Doesn't look like there's a train coming. Oops, that's what I wanted. So, this one, that is copper 3 unload. So what we want you to do is go to copper 2 until inventory full, and then come to copper 3 unload until inventory empty, and you should have enough in you at this point to just go. Now, how are we doing? It looks like we have trains coming back. Where are you headed? You're headed to copper 1, so I might just use this. Basically, I'm just using it for its coal supply. Just because I'm putting it here doesn't obviously mean that it needs to come back here. You are going to go to copper 2 until inventory full, and then you're going to go to copper 2 unload until inventory empty, and off you go. Let's have another quick look. Anything coming? No. Alright. Final new train, new copper train. You obviously also go to copper 2 until full, and then copper 1 unload until empty, and off you go. Hopefully that's enough to fix our copper problem. Now, let's go over again down to here, see what sort of progress we're making. It looks like we've used up all of those processing units already. That's fully fully moduled up, but there's very few others that actually are, so yeah. It's going to be a very long, slow process getting to the point where all of that is done. How are we going on restocking? 1.6. So I mean, this area obviously desperately needs those modules as well. Not to mention these areas up here as well. But I guess the other thing we could check on is how our modules, our homegrown modules, are going. 171 and 106. So that's not going to help us much either. So, alright, what are we going to do with the remaining time? We don't have, I mean, it's a fairly short episode so far. I guess what I want to do is start planning out how we're going to, well, we need to expand this lot out, obviously. Which is hardly being tapped at the moment. I mean, we need 3 of those, I calculated. But before we get too far down the track, and they don't all have to be right next to each other. I mean, we could have one, for example, up here if we wanted. There's no particular reason why we can't tap this field, tap different fields for different oil supplies. We are going to want a lot of steel for this next phase. We probably want to tap these guys because we're going to start building the low density structures. 3 of these will give us our rocket fuel. We need to work out how we're going to get our low density structures happening. I haven't done all of the maths yet for the low density structures. I guess we're kind of going to go next to this construct and use 1, 2, 3 steel. Where are we going to get the copper from? Because I notice there's quite a lot of copper over here. What's low density structure requirements again? It is copper, steel and plastic. So plastic we're getting from up here at the moment. We probably need to fly over here and just extend all of this out just to see what actually is here. Let's kind of... Well, has this started happening yet? Where's your trains? You've got 1 leaving, 1 on the way. What about you? 1's just left, 1's loading up. Oh, there is that one thing that I have kind of neglected to do, and that is let's get another, say, a couple of 100 miners. Let's see if we can fill out the rest of the miners down at our coal before we get too distracted. Nice and safe crossing the railway lines because we're in a plane. A very slow plane. I'm surprised it can stay afloat given the speed it travels at, but afloat in the air is what I meant, of course. Yeah, probably these ones down at the bottom in particular that are looking a little bit thin. Add a few to them. That's helping quite a lot. Probably do with a few more. Well, I want to get all of these gaps sorted out. Looks like we are already... There we go. There we go. Oops, you need to be there. Oop. Get rid of the stone. So we'll basically just reduce the amount of attention that I need to give this area. Whoop. We're way over supplying versus our need at this point, I guess. But it doesn't matter. Well, it doesn't matter from the standpoints that are important to us, I guess. From a UPS standpoint, we're fine at the moment. From a... well, you don't quite reach, alright. From a power standpoint, we're fine until all of our modules come online. Oops, I've trapped myself in. This one is relying on actually supplying further down that it doesn't really need to at the moment. And we probably have a whole row here that we don't really need. So I might even just tell it to go away for now, rather than flash at me. And actually get rid of some of these trees. Let's see what we're doing. Okay, there's that patch in there. May as well do what we can. Oops. We're going to need a bit of belt. Power. That seems to be that. Alright, I think that will do us. Possibly shouldn't have spent the remaining ones. I wanna balance this up, but for the moment, let's just go and revel in our full copper belts, perhaps. How far away are your guys? Ew. Long way away. One's just delivered. You've just been delivered to. There's no gap there. Well, not a very large one. I think I guess we've fixed that for now. Can always run more trains to that mine if we need to. But anyway, thanks for joining me for this one, guys. We didn't really get a long way with the Hyperbase, but certainly these are things that we need to do, so there you go. Anyway, look forward to seeing you next time when we'll start looking at low density structures. See you then, guys. Bye bye for now.